Welcome back to 21 Questions with a Manager. My name is Anna and I will be your host. And today we're with a very special manager that is going to tell us about her experience being promoted to a manager and what that really entails. So, hi Melissa, why don't you quickly introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi Anna, thanks so much. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today. My name is Melissa. I am a brand director at Rex Marketing and Design. We are a boutique branding and marketing strategy agency. What we do is we help entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses with full business transformation, solving business problems with marketing solutions.
So, in a few words, how are you feeling today?
I'm really excited to be doing this interview with you. And I also just feel grateful that I'm in our office today and get to be with our team.
Share with us a little bit about the story of how you ended up being promoted to be a manager.
When I started at Rex, I started as an intern actually, right out of school. And I was actually employee number 001, the very first employee, because I joined as the company was being incorporated. So brand new startup. And it's been 4 years since that. So I have been really fortunate to have been at the company and see the company grow, the team grow. And naturally, I got the opportunity to step into a manager role and oversee teams.
What was one lesson that you learned pretty soon on the job?
One thing that I learned is that you are in control of your own career path and your growth trajectory.
What is one of the coolest parts about being a manager?
You go from feeling proud of yourself and your personal accomplishments and worrying about yourself to now feeling really proud of the team.
What, in your opinion, is the scariest part of being leveled up to be a manager?
Leveling up, I think you always get a sense of imposter syndrome, first of all. I'm wondering, can I really do this? And I think another scary piece is just knowing that other people are now relying on you to lead them, to guide them, to develop them. And that you're probably going to be making mistakes along the way.
What was one key factor that you feel really helped you succeed in your new role?
Key piece is the company culture that our CEO and founder created, which is based on this idea of Uber leadership. That's what we call it, where everybody is a leader, everybody is a follower. Second key factor is resources, obviously, like Officevibe, that provide so much helpful material and guidance for people who are stepping into a new managerial role. The templates and the guides, I recommend those to anyone.
I love that. And so from talking to you, a little part that I've learned from being a manager of your nature is that you're not only now managing a team, but now you started also managing up, like you mentioned, your CEO. So tell us what that, being in that sweet spot really is like.
The upper level senior management or executives are almost always tied to the business objectives, the purpose, the vision, the why. They're in that space. And then the frontline teams are often thinking about, what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, who it needs to be done for, when, where. So really thinking about those details.
And so if we could put that all together in your experience, what is one advice you would give to manage up?
My piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to lead a leader. That's how our Uber leadership culture works. Just because someone has a certain title or there's a hierarchy or seniority doesn't mean that you don't have something special or valuable or insightful to add to the table that is going to help them with their goal or help them forward.
I am personally curious, what is your favorite feature of Officevibe?
Got to be all of the library resources, templates, and guides, the ebooks. It's just, unlimited. It's so helpful, as well as the email newsletter that I get on a regular basis.
Can you tell us a little bit of why you love it so much or how it helps you in your day-to-day?
I always feel like when I see that email newsletter come into my inbox, and I read the headline, I feel like somehow you're reading my mind because you know exactly what I need at that moment in time. And you give me the perfect piece of advice or inspiration or motivation to help me with a certain challenge that I have. So I think it comes right when you need it.
How early in your career as a manager did you start using Officevibe?
Almost immediately. So once I was transitioning into a managerial role and I started having team members that I was responsible for, I needed to learn everything and create systems from scratch. Because like I said, we were essentially a startup. So all those templates and guides to help me figure out how to structure one-on-ones, how to give effective feedback, how to measure employee engagement.
If you could choose one superpower or a managerial superpower, what would it be?
It would be the power to read my team's mind, I think, especially as we're mostly working remotely right now. I feel the need to keep a finger on the pulse and just know how everyone's doing with their workload, how they're feeling day to day. One of those is figuring out how to transfer all the background knowledge and context that we've built with clients over the years to our new team members and empowering them to be able to take a leadership or support role on a project.
In your opinion, what is one team culture value that you think all managers should think about when they're building their teams?
One of our key values at Rex is understanding is deeper than knowledge. So what we mean by that is when you take the time to ask questions from a place of curiosity, really listen with empathy and get to know what matters to the other person, whether it's your team member or it's a client even.
If your team could describe you in a few words, how do you think they would describe you?
Well, I think they would definitely describe me as a spreadsheet brain because they have called me, they have said that to me many times. And what they mean by that is essentially that, I can take the craziness and the chaos of a creative process and brainstorms and ideas and turn that into something that's organized and repeatable and that anyone can understand.
Can you tell us a little bit more into why they would describe you as a leader and just a little bit more in depth what you mean by that?
As I hinted to, Uber leadership is our core philosophy or culture at Rex. And so that means everybody is a leader in their own strength zone. So we have teams that are very interconnected. Our brand team works with our creative team, works with our digital team, and everyone has their area of expertise.
Where do you see yourself in 2 years from now?
I see myself, in this brand director role, and I see the company and our team growing rapidly. So I see us taking on maybe bigger projects, bigger clients.
What do you think are some skills that you've learned by being a manager that are going to help you get there in your 2-year vision?
Seeing how we can add value to others, thinking about adding value to others as a key piece of what leadership is.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to anyone leveling up their career and being able to manage that busy agenda that comes with the role?
Practice clarity. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, is learning how to be clear, especially when you're delegating.
To wrap up this conversation, I want to know, do you have one piece of advice you would give to any manager listening to this?
See yourself as a leader. See yourself in that position as a person that adds value to others. Your title might be a manager, but your role is to be a leader. So see yourself as that, and you will be that.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing your story. This was 21 Questions with a Manager. This was your host, Anna, and we'll see you soon.